Have you ever felt invisible? You walk into a room and no one even notices you? What if I told you that feeling isn't just in your head and it's real and it can affect your health, your happiness, and even how long you can live? Beautiful souls, I'm Indu Kanen, your emotional well-being coach, and welcome to Manasvi Healing YouTube channel. If you're a woman in midlife, maybe your kids have grown up, maybe you have changed roles at work and at home, and you might have noticed fewer compliments, less social energy around you. You might feel invisible. Today, we are diving into why that happens and what science says about the cost of silence and being invisible. Now, the global health authorities now recognize that social isolation and loneliness are serious risk factors for both physical and mental health. Now, loneliness and social isolation increases risk for chronic conditions, mental health declines, premature death, cardiovascular disease, stroke, impaired immunity, poor sleep, depression, and even anxiety. So, a recent review shows that loneliness is linked not only to emotional distress but to long term disease risk, making loneliness as serious as other well known risk factors for health. Now, why does this matter for midlife women? Now, we have a lot of transitions happening around this part of our life, like children leaving home, you're a caregiver for your aging parents, your career plateaus, or your even retirement, early retirement. It could be any of those factors. These often reduces the social contact because you're not meeting many others in the social setup. Now that could be even in your workplace. And so there is no much of social validation thereby. So these transitions increases the chance of social isolations or loneliness. Now, additionally, research shows that body dissatisfaction in older adults, which tends to rise in midlife because of natural aging, hormonal changes, shifting of body shape, is all associated with emotional distress, poor self-esteem, and greater psychological vulnerability. So when you combine less social validation, internal body image stress, life transition, all these combination, it will result in often feeling invisible emotionally, socially, and even physically. So now what if there is no changes happening in the way we feel, like the cost of invisibility? The long-term loneliness or sustained social isolation tends to increase a risk for chronic diseases, weaker immune response, heart disease, sometimes early death, even when controlling other factors, right? On the mental health side, they say loneliness significantly increases chances of depression, anxiety, impaired cognition, decreases life satisfactions, emotional distress, and reduced quality of life. So even the invisibility feeling, the chronic sense of being unseen or undervalued can become self-reinforcing, less social activity, reduced self-worth, withdrawal, negative self-image, which further isolates you. So it doesn't mean that I understand it feels so heavy as we understand, oh, these are the things that tend to happen, but it doesn't mean that there is no other way to overcome this. Because the same research shows social connection, self awareness, and body respecting practices can reverse these trends. So, I would want to share 3 evidence-based strategies that can help midlife women feel seen, valued, and alive again. Strategy number 1: rebuild social connection and community. Why it matters? Because strong social relationships are among the biggest protective factors for physical and mental health. They increase survival, reduce disease risk, improve mood and life satisfaction. So, what we need to do? Let's put it into the micro steps. Reach out to one of your friend or a best colleague, sometime next week or this week, and invite them for a coffee or a walk or a catch up, in whichever way you would feel like you want to establish that connection. Even low pressure contact that would help you to re-engage the social loops. Okay, so it needn't be for big event, just a little engagement. Then the second thing what we can do is join a small group or community activity like a hobby class. Now these days in Class Bento, you have a lot of classes that you can go and enjoy with someone or as a group. So you can do that, a hobby class or a walking group or a book club if you're a book lover, and something that is of your interest based. So you can do that like an activity with a small group of people. Third thing, re-establish regular social rituals like making phone calls or message check-ins, or even sometimes you can share a meal, having a brunch, something like that. Consistency over time rebuilds social feedback. Yeah. So you don't need to do all of this in a big way. Just start with small repetitive connections that you can establish, and that would eventually create a big impact for you. Now, rebuilding social ties moves you from isolation, which is linked to higher mortality and health risk, towards social integrations, which supports long-term well-being. Now, the strategy number 2 is work on self-perception and body compassion. What does it mean is body dissatisfaction, especially in midlife and older age. It often correlates with emotional distress, poor self-image, and lowered mental health. Yeah. So what are the things we can do? Is the first thing we can do is daily morning mirror ritual. So for 1 minute, look at yourself in the mirror and say a compassionately a true statement about your body, about yourself. That is, I have supported others for years and I matter the most. Something that would make you feel true to yourself, and that would give you a lot of self-compassion. And second thing we can do is focus on body respecting movement. Rather than performing for appearance, gentle walking, yeah, stretching, yoga, mindful movement, things that make your body feel good and alive. So that way you are more connected to yourself. Then practice self-compassionate as a self-talk. Now, when you notice a negative thought about aging or appearance, because most of the time we have this negative self-talk in our mind, and if you notice that about either your appearance, your body image, or about your social status, then pause and replace it with a neutral or kind thought. As I mentioned earlier, immediately changing into a positive statement may not be feeling authentic for many people. So use the neutrality, and that would help you to stay grounded and accept the reality. Okay. And eventually you can build the positive thought. So your body has carried all these things over decades, right? So start treating it as without any criticism, with a bit of compassion and kindness to yourself. And so this will help you in the long run as well. Now, the strategy number 3, what we can do is cultivate a renewed identity and purpose. Now, in midlife, it involves a lot of role transitions. Children grew up, they move from home, your career shifts, your social roles also changes. So without a renewed sense of identity or purpose, women, we often feel adrift, invisible or irrelevant. So pairing identity work with social reconnection and body compassion builds resilience. So what are the things we can do to make this happen is spend 10 minutes doing journaling about who are you beyond your roles as mother, partner, employee. Now, what parts of you feel suppressed or forgotten? So do the reflection and do the journaling, asking this question to yourself. Now, choose one small passion or interest you have thought, I'll do it later in my life. That could be something that you would want to learn. That could be an art or a dance or an activity, whatever it is, a hobby, whatever it is. Choose one thing that you have been kept aside for so long, which you would want to try now. Okay. Then what you can do is set a weekly I time ritual, or you can see me time rituals, something you do for yourself alone. And you can celebrate some of your small shifts, like when there was a negative thought, you had neutralized it, or anything to celebrate your evolving identity. Okay, now if you don't define yourself, what happens is others start defining us, right? They say, okay, this is who you are, and then we tend to validate what others say. So let's not do all of that. So let's see what is our identity and how we need to, going forward from midlife, how we want to show up in a way that we feel authentic and connected to ourselves, and work around those ways, so you don't become invisible, you become visible once again. And that's how we can reclaim our identity from as we age. So that's the thing. And if you want, we can even talk about something like a 7-day starter plan. Now what we can do is, so the first thing is, for whatever the strategy we have just spoken about, the 7 days, you can, first day you can reach out to a friend for a chat or a walk. Then you do 1 minute. Day 2, you do 1 minute mirror compassion ritual. On day 3, probably you can start with a 10-minute gentle movement or breath work. And day 4, you can start with the 10-minute of journaling, asking, who am I now, what I have been suppressing myself, and things like that. On day 5, you can do something just for you, a hobby or a I time or a me time or a self-care, something of that sort. On day 6, probably you can do a social check-in, like you can call someone, either you want to make a new connection, or you can call someone whom you have lost connection for quite some time, and start to reconnect and see how you feel about it. And day 7, you can then reflect, what did you do for the past week, what are your small wins, what did you enjoy the most, what was your feeling all about in particular situation. So that way you can start, and then you can repeat this every week, and then see how you feel. And please do share with us. Yeah, so now, feeling invisible isn't just a feeling, it is a signal from your body, your brain, and also from the outside world. So if we not address to what we are feeling about the loneliness and invisibility, it can affect your health, your relationships, your lifespan. But when you give yourself small doses of connection, compassion, and identity, you begin to matter again for yourself, and you become visible again. And that is what is important for us to start working on ourselves in the midlife, when all the changes are happening around us. So calm yourself if you're feeling overwhelmed, and do the necessary steps, and take it lightly rather than feeling so anxious about all the changes happening in your life. So that way you will feel more connected and grounded, rather than feeling very chaotic in your mind. Okay, so now if you feel this, whatever the information that I have shared is something that is resonating with you, I would love to invite you for my free masterclass. And that's a safe space for midlife women to reclaim your identity, confidence, and connection. And so you will find the link in the show notes, and you can click on and register, and we will be in touch with you. And also, as a request, I would want you to watch this video, share any comments that you have got, and then also share it with some of your circle to see whether this message resonates for them as well. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe. Until then, next time, take care.